Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're
Wow.
going to do a deep dive into something I think is super relevant to all of you learning English out there.
Yeah.
And that's how to talk about self-improvement.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, how do you talk about your goals in English?
Absolutely.
How do you talk about your habits
Yeah.
and mindset and all that?
I think it's so important to be able to articulate those things in English.
Right.
Because when you can do that, then you can really reflect more deeply on them.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, it can help with like finding an accountability partner
Yeah.
or like connecting with others on a similar path.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's like you unlock a whole new level when you can talk about this stuff.
Yeah. It's not just about journaling, in English.
Right.
It's about like sharing your aha moments,
Yeah.
finding mentors,
Yeah.
getting advice. Like, it really opens doors.
For sure. And I think that's what makes this deep dive so interesting.
Yeah.
It's like we're giving you the actual tools to have richer conversations
Yes.
about your own personal growth.
All right, so let's jump into some of this vocab.
Yeah, let's do it.
Our sources are packed with all sorts of great words,
Yeah.
but we want to focus on the ones that are actually useful.
Right.
So let's start with one that everybody knows.
Okay.
Goals.
Goals, of course.
Everybody's got goals, right?
Absolutely.
I know I do.
Me too.
But I was really fascinated to learn from one of our sources that people who write down their goals
Oh, yeah.
in English are way more likely to achieve them.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
Just the act of writing it down
Yeah.
makes a huge difference.
So it's not just about having a vague idea.
Right.
It's about getting specific.
Yes. Being specific is key.
So like instead of saying, I want to be healthier,
Right.
you might say, I want to run a 5K
Exactly.
in 3 months.
Yes. Give yourself a deadline.
Give yourself a deadline.
Something to work towards.
So we got goals down.
Okay.
What about habits?
Oh, habits.
This one is tough for me.
Yeah, habits can be tricky.
It's like trying to train a puppy sometimes,
That's a great way to put it.
You're like, sit, stay.
Yeah,
But the puppy's like running all over the place.
exactly. And one of our sources, a book on behavioral psychology, actually talked about this idea of habit stacking.
Habit stacking, what's that?
Yeah, so it's basically this idea that you link a new habit that you're trying to form to an existing habit that you already have.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's like using the momentum of an existing habit.
Like brushing my teeth.
Exactly.
I always brush my teeth.
Every day, hopefully.
Every day.
So if you want to start flossing, for example, you could try flossing right after you brush your teeth.
Oh, so it becomes like an automatic thing?
Exactly. You're already doing one, so you just tack the other one on.
That's pretty clever.
It is, and it actually works.
So we've got goals, we've got habits,
Yeah.
but what about staying motivated?
Ah, motivation.
Because we all know
Yeah.
there are those days where you just don't feel like it.
Oh.
And I was really interested to hear what a performance coach we had in one of our sources said about motivation.
Oh, yeah. What did they say?
They said, it all comes down to your why.
Your why.
Like, why are you doing this in the first place?
Oh, that makes sense.
Because when you have a strong why,
Yeah.
it's easier to push through on those days.
Right, because you remember why you started.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, that reserve tank of fuel.
Yeah. That's a good way to think about it.
So we've got goals, habits, motivation.
We're on a roll.
What about progress?
Progress. Oh, that's a good one.
Because seeing progress
Absolutely.
is what keeps us going.
It's so motivator.
It is. And our sources all agreed that it's super important.
Yes.
Not just to recognize your progress,
Mm-hmm.
but to celebrate it.
Yes. Celebrate those wins.
Like give yourself a high five.
Absolutely. Even the small ones.
Yeah, even the small ones.
Because it reinforces that positive behavior.
Totally. And then that leads us to our final word,
Okay, bring it on.
which is mindset.
Mindset. Oh, that's a big one.
It is.
Everyone talks about mindset.
They do?
But what does it actually mean?
Yeah, so one of our sources, a study on growth mindset, actually defined it
Okay.
as the belief that you can improve your abilities
Mm-hmm.
through dedication and hard work.
So it's not about being born with certain talents.
Right.
It's about believing that you can develop them.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And that if you put in the effort,
Yeah.
you can get better.
I love that.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that research shows
Yeah.
that people with a growth mindset are more resilient,
Mm-hmm.
more persistent, and ultimately more successful.
It's so powerful, isn't it?
So it's not just about learning new words in English.
I
It's about understanding the concepts
exactly.
and how they can actually help us on our self-improvement journey.
You got it, and that's just the beginning.
We've got so much more to talk about,
Yes, we do. Stay tuned.
so stick around. All right, so we've got all this great vocabulary now,
Yeah.
but how do we actually use it?
Yeah.
Right.
Like
yeah.
in real conversations.
in real conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes it can feel a little awkward
It can be,
to talk about self-improvement stuff,
especially in another language.
especially in another language.
But one of our sources had some really good tips
Oh, good.
on how to make those conversations flow more naturally.
Okay. I like that.
So, like, let's say you're talking to a friend about your goals.
Okay.
Instead of just saying, my goal is to learn Spanish.
Which I feel like is what I would say.
Yeah, simple.
It's simple, it gets the point across,
It does.
but there's more to it.
Yeah, you could say something like, I'm really committed to becoming fluent in Spanish this year, and I even signed up for an online course.
Oh, so you're giving them more details?
Exactly. You're adding that extra layer.
Okay.
And it kind of invites them to ask more questions.
Right. It opens up the conversation.
Exactly.
And then they might have some tips for you.
Right. Or they might share their own experiences.
So it becomes more of a two-way thing.
Exactly.
Okay, that's cool. What about habits?
Habits, yeah. So let's say you're trying to meditate every day, which
Right.
can be a challenge.
It can be.
You could say something like, I'm working on making meditation a daily habit. Do you have any tips on staying consistent?
Oh, so you're asking for advice?
Exactly. You're being proactive.
And it shows that you're serious about it.
Yeah. And you might get some really helpful tips.
From someone who's already doing it.
Exactly.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's say you're making progress.
Yes. Progress.
How do you talk about that without sounding like you're bragging?
Right. Because nobody likes a bragger.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
But you want to celebrate your wins.
You do. It's important to acknowledge your achievements.
Yeah. So how do we do that?
So one of our sources suggested using phrases like, I'm really proud of myself for sticking to my workout routine this month.
Oh, I like that.
Or, I'm starting to see real progress in my coding skills.
Yeah, it doesn't sound braggy.
No, it sounds genuine.
It sounds like you're genuinely happy with your progress. Okay, I like that. But what about when things aren't going so well?
Yeah, the struggle.
Those struggles, because
Yeah.
let's be real, self-improvement isn't always easy.
It's all right, it's a journey.
It's a journey with ups and downs.
And sometimes you hit roadblocks.
You do, and it's okay to talk about that.
It's actually really helpful.
Because it makes you realize that you're not alone.
Exactly. Everyone goes through it.
So one of our sources recommended using phrases like, I'm finding it really tough to stay motivated with my diet.
Yeah, or I've hit a wall with my writing project. I'm feeling stuck.
It's like being honest with yourself and with others.
Exactly. And it can open up a whole new level of support.
Because then people can relate to you.
Right. And they might offer some advice or encouragement.
So what we're learning is that the language of self-improvement is about more than just the words themselves.
Yeah, it's about using those words to connect with others,
To build relationships.
to seek support,
To celebrate our wins.
and to acknowledge our struggles.
It's like a whole communication toolkit.
It is for personal growth.
I like that, communication toolkit for personal growth.
Okay, so we've got the words, we've got the phrases.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about some common mistakes.
Oh, yeah, the pitfalls.
The pitfalls that we want to avoid.
Because sometimes it's not just about what we do.
Right.
It's about what we don't do.
Okay, this is getting interesting.
It is. Stay tuned.
Okay, so those pitfalls, what are some of the things that we might be doing that are actually like sabotaging our self-improvement, you know?
Well, one of the biggest ones that kept coming up in our sources was this idea of setting goals that are just way too vague.
Oh, yeah.
Like you mentioned earlier, I want to be happier.
Right.
It's a great goal,
Yeah.
but it's so vague.
It's like, where do you even start?
Right. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack
Exactly.
without knowing what the needle looks like.
Yeah, and our sources really stress the importance of being specific with our goals.
So one of the articles even suggested using that SMART goal framework.
Goal framework. Yeah, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Oh, right.
So it's like taking that vague idea
Yeah.
and making it into a concrete plan.
Okay, so no more vague goals.
More vague goals.
What else? What other mistakes do we need to watch out for?
Well, another one that I think a lot of people can relate to is overloading ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to do too much at once.
It's like that New Year's resolution syndrome.
Exactly.
Where you're like, I'm going to change everything.
Or going to learn a new language.
Yeah, I'm going to work out every day. I'm going to eat perfectly.
I'm going to write a book.
I'm going to start a business. It's too much.
It's way too much.
And then you end up burning out.
Yeah, you just crash and burn.
So our sources recommended
Yeah.
a more gradual approach.
Yeah, start small.
Start small.
Focus on one or two things at a time.
And one of the books even talked about setting mini goals.
Oh, mini goals. I love that.
Yeah, so it's like breaking down those bigger goals
Right.
into smaller, more manageable steps.
Right.
So instead of trying to become fluent in Spanish in a month,
Right.
maybe you focus on learning 5 new words a day.
Yeah, or having a short conversation with a language partner once a week.
Yeah, and then you celebrate those small wins.
Absolutely. Celebrating those wins is so important.
Which reminds me, that was another big takeaway from our sources.
Oh, yeah.
The importance of acknowledging our progress.
Yes, we can get so caught up in what we haven't achieved yet.
Right.
That we forget to appreciate how far we've come.
Like we're always looking ahead.
Yeah, always striving for that next thing.
But we forget to look back and be like, wow,
I've actually done a lot.
I've actually made some progress.
And one of the podcasts even suggested keeping a gratitude journal.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Specifically for your self-improvement wins.
So you can track your progress.
Exactly, and it just helps you to focus on the positive.
Okay, I like that. So to wrap things up, it seems like self-improvement is a journey.
It is a journey.
Not a destination.
And it's a journey that's full of twists and turns.
And ups and downs.
Yeah. And it's okay to ask for help along the way.
Absolutely. Our sources really emphasize that.
You don't have to do it alone.
There are so many resources out there.
Friends, mentors, online communities, even professional coaches.
And one of our sources shared a really beautiful quote.
Oh, yeah. What was it?
It said, "Self-improvement is like planting a garden.
I love that.
It takes time, effort, and patience, but the results are incredibly rewarding."
So true.
So keep tending to your self-improvement gardens, everyone.
Yes, and keep practicing those English phrases.
Because the more you use them, the more natural they'll become.
Absolutely.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.